Hi all. So a while ago on YouTube, I stumbled down a wormhole of small kitchen appliance reviews. As I was looking to buy an air fryer and perhaps maybe a pressure cooker, that's when I stumbled across one of the worst YouTube chefs of all time. His name is Jack Scalfani, as I like to call him, Jack Salmonella Scalfani. I watch video after video of him butcher, sometimes quite literally, recipes. Imagine driving slowly past a multi-car pileup on the interstate. That's my face as I watched him teach the internet how to make partially cooked meals of varying types and taking awful and unneeded shortcuts to recipes that are already quick to prepare. The absolute horror of Jack's lazy man chefing, air quote, techniques to my boyfriend Tom. And now, since we can't unsee it, we are opening your eyes to it as well. I'm Michelle, and I welcome you to join us for this horrific journey, better known as Pink Chicken and the Lazy Man. Welcome back to Pink Chicken and the Lazy Man.
Hello folks, we are going to do a slightly older video of Jack's. We're going to do the Walt Disney World trio of videos that Jack has recently done about famous recipes from Walt Disney World and or Disneyland.
So there's
probably not Tokyo Disney.
3 episodes in this series, air quote.
Yeah, because he didn't know how many he was going to do, which is weird because he's producing his own content. It's not like he's just talent that goes in front of the camera and they give him stuff to read. Jack produces these videos. He creates the whole series, so he's like, yeah, I'm going to start this short series on food from Walt Disney World, but I don't know how many it is. And he acts like he's never even heard of Walt Disney World. He's like, yeah, there's something there, like, or Disneyland, like the Carnation Cafe. I don't know what it is. Like 4 or 5 times in this video, which you know is a lie because they go there often. Oh, and by the way, Jack, we've seen your Goofy plates.
It's obvious that somebody else is driving this content, whether it be Tammy or your theory about so he's working with the social media consultant, which I highly doubt. The fact of the matter is he's not that into these videos.
Yeah, he keeps acting like this isn't him. And I think this is his way, because Jack is a child. I think this is Jack's way of admitting guilt, is by basically saying, well, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, but I have to do it, but I want to do it. So either Tammy guilted him into doing these because she's like, since we're not going to Disney World, honey, could you do some Disney videos so it'll feel like we're at the park? And he's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I only want to do what I want to do. I don't want to do what you want to do. So he, has to put a half-ass effort in because he's 12. Or my other theory was that, remember when Jack's Facebook page got hacked and I said he must have let somebody in because he noticed his video count is going down, so he hired an idea agency or some type of content creator consultant, and they're like, well, Babish gets all the videos because he does movie and TV stuff. What things do you like to do and what things have you been seen liking that we could possibly incorporate into your keywords, your SEO description, your YouTube titles, and your thumbnails? And of course, Jack, being the idiot that he is and not realizing exactly how litigious the Disney Corporation is, they will sue you for breathing the wrong way at their licensed characters. Jack's like, oh, we'll do Disney videos. And probably the creative consultant was like, okay, but you're gonna have to be really respectful and it's gonna encounter a lot of work. And Jack's like, oh, do it. I guess we'll have to do it, but I don't want to do it now because it's too much work and I don't like work. I'm the lazy man. So those are my 2 theories on how these videos came about.
But don't you think, like, you don't have all the information, you'd pause the video or you'd stop recording, briefly look at your phone and do a little research? Because we did a little research before we recorded this episode and you were able to figure out exactly what the place was he was talking about or referencing.
Oh yeah, I was so annoyed at his ignorance that I had to solve it for myself. I had to look up the history of Carnation's Cafe. I had to look up the history. He keeps referring to this as Disney chili. The recipe's name is actually Walt's chili. So this is apparently literally a Walt Disney the guy. This is a Disney family recipe from Walt's time in growing up in the Midwest. So that's why you see this as ground beef and stew meat chunks in it.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think the Disney family chili was made in a Ninja Foodie?
Oh, probably not.
Well,
that's Jack's little lazy man innovation on the recipe. Because I'm not going to stand there cooking it all. I got to make chili and it just takes forever standing at the stove. I don't want to do that. Just doing the Instant Pot takes 8 minutes, man.
The thing with chili is if you let it simmer all day, you don't have to you're not really doing anything.
Well, Jack does so many other things. He's trying to get these videos in and out at the same time. He's
like the chili.
Exactly. which again, again, this is Jack's world falling apart, falling in on him, because they're like, well, why don't you do some recipes from Walt Disneyland? Okay. And then he asked the creative consultant, like, well, guys, what should I do? And they're like, oh, well, Walt's chili. I mean, that's famous. Like, you should do a Walt. I want to do chili. Every time I do chili, people make fun of me. They tell me it's soup, or they tell me it's too thick. Or
well, he has like about, 25, 80, 100 chili recipes.
And they all suck. Each recipe.
Maybe he has one for each of his smokers on the back deck. He has a big collection of those as well. So, I mean, I don't know how many ways you can really innovate chili. Honestly, the way he makes it, though.
Oh, there's tons of ways to illustrate
we
chili.
know that, like white chili, whatever.
That's racist.
Well, beans, no beans, corn, no corn, whatever.
Also racist.
Well, anyway, he makes the chili look exactly the same. No matter what he does, he uses the same ingredients. It comes out the same way every time.
Oh, nay. You'll see when we get into the video, the type of beans that he uses. Again, if you're taking any kind of care or any kind of consideration with your chili is two things. It's meat and usually beans. Sometimes beans with no meat. But the beans are the star of the show of the chili. So you're thinking, well, you got to rinse them, you got to drain them, you got to get the dry ones, because you want those beans to be the star of the show. Jack buys a can of baked beans and says, good enough.
I'm looking up a recipe really quick because I don't believe that baked beans are in a chili. That doesn't make any sense to me.
And yet,
let's see.
Folks at home, I would like you to sit there quietly and think of some bean recipes in your own way.
Pinto beans. I'm looking at the recipe right now and it says pinto beans. That's not baked beans, is it?
Oh, Lord, no.
I mean, I'm not a bean fan, but I don't think they're the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Would you say you're not keen on beans?
That doesn't rhyme.
Keen on beans. Yes, it totally
You have
rhymes.
an S at the end. It doesn't count.
What? You're not bean keen. How about that?
There, that's better. Yeah, okay. Now we're talking.
Didn't he play Superman, and isn't he a conservative now?
Anyway.
Hey, back to this thing. We are going to start the video. Synchronize your YouTubulators. We are doing the very first Jack Disney video recipes. This is Walt's chili, although he doesn't call it that. Oh no, he calls it Walt Disney's chili, but the recipe is specifically referred to as Walt's chili.
Yeah.
We are at time index 00, and he's already screwing up with the title. Although you notice, this video was released 2 weeks ago as we recorded here today on a Sunday. 10,000 views.
That's a lot for him over the last couple of months. That's probably one of his more popular videos, and I'm sure it's not for the reasons that we think it is.
Oh, I know. It's exactly because the creative consultant said, make sure you put some words in there that have high SEO keyword content value.
People might just be happening upon it.
Disney. If you notice, Jack has now stepped away from this because obviously the consultant was right and Jack hates to be proven wrong. Also, there might be money issues.
It would be interesting to see how many people click away from, like, how many people watch this video the entire way through versus clicked away, because that would be the really telling statistic. If you're keeping them there because they're actually interested in the recipe, that's one thing, but if they just happened upon it because of the Disney name in the title, that's a different thing.
Imagine, so there's 10,000 views on this video. That means that 6,000 are us and the people like us who watch Jack for the train wreck. But imagine that 4,000 people, the innocent YouTube video viewers out there, were surfing around on YouTube and they put in, oh, Disney had a chili recipe, let me put that in there. And the first recipe that comes up, because Jack games the YouTube picker a lot, is the Walt Disney chili recipe from Jack. And this is their first exposure to Jack. Imagine all the Disney fans that are finding Jack now because of they're like, oh, honey, I don't think he made that chili the right way. Let's watch some of his other recipes. What's this Aunt Myrna dessert party salad? What is it? Oh God. Oh, hide the children's eyes.
It's really offensive to all 5 senses. Yeah. So with that in mind,
synchronize your YouTubulators. We are starting Jack's Walt Disney Chili's ripoff recipe. All right. We have noticed that Jack has changed his shirt from his blue Cooking with Jack shirt because of the stain on it that we pointed out.
It was either blue or purple. It's hard to tell with his balance.
The shot is centered well and it's exposed well. That's unusual for Jack, and it's level.
Yeah, it's very unusual.
See, this is why I think there was a creative consultant involved here. I think somebody was standing in the kitchen going, Jack, your shot's not right. Your shot's not level. Your shot's not exposed right. Your shot's not white balance. Your shot.
Jack's doing the cooking today, so maybe Tammy set up the equipment.
You know, she has a better handle on Jack's equipment than Jack does.
Oh, God.
And not just because of the one arm. So he's babbling on here about how much he doesn't know. Jack does this weird thing with his one good hand where he just waves it like he's backhanding a badminton shuttlecock.
Yeah.
I just want to say shuttlecock. He's backhanding a shuttlecock with his badminton racket. When he doesn't know anything, he just waves his hand like, I don't know.
Pretty standard ingredients here. He's using better than bouillon instead of beef broth. Various spices, an onion, a pepper, ground beef, the stew meat, jar of garlic, tomato paste, the baked beans, which are weird, and then tomatoes, sour cream, and cheese are for the toppings at the end.
And you know how Jack loves his chili toppings.
Then we get into a weird rant when he starts going over his ingredients here about the onion. It goes on.
Jack wants us to make America vegetable again. He mentions that at the bottom, he notices that in a root vegetable, a garlic or an onion, if the root vegetable has a lot of roots on the bottom of it, what he refers to as hairs, even though they're roots, he says if there's a lot of them, that means that that root vegetable was grown right up here in America. And if it doesn't, then that means that produce probably originated outside of the country, maybe in a foreign place like China. Of course, what Jack doesn't understand is produce has been a global business for decades now. Apparently, Jack only eats those American bananas. Does he not understand that, food comes from all over the place? It's not a world trade issue, Jack. It's where it's hot. They grow the food where it's hot. That's different growing seasons are in the southern hemisphere and the east. Never mind. I'm sure Jack's thought about all of that and has decided that it's somehow political.
Definitely political. This episode is 13 minutes long, by the way.
Yeah, well, we had to go into the Make America Vegetable Again rant at the beginning, and then don't forget the 3 minutes in the beginning where he's like, I don't know who Walt Disney is. I don't know where Walt Disney's at. I don't know what the Carnation Cafe is. I think it's an ice cream parlor. I did no research. Why should I bother?
Oh, and then he was talking about, I guess the recipe calls for thyme and paprika, but then it didn't say how much to put in, just like, most of Jack's recipes. You don't get any kind of measurements. He just kind of eyeballs it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny that Jack stomps all over somebody else for screwing up a recipe. Even though in the videos after this one and the videos before this one, Jack has a long history of forgetting ingredients or putting too much in or misjudging it by eye or not swirling the damn oil in the pan to coat it.
Meat boogers.
Meat boogers. Oh my God, I forgot about meat boogers.
Well,
oh, no meat boogers in this one. Oh, yeah, no meat boogers in this one.
No, but he basically just dumps everything in. There's no skill involved with that.
Absolutely none.
But we're still going over the ingredients here after.
Yeah, because we had to go through the rant about the root vegetables. And he's mentioning his chili, and he's mentioning the garlic, and there's the pan.
Finally, we get to the pan.
Finally, the pan. Using his Rachel Ray olive oil dripper.
And the rocks or stone pans.
The rock pan.
Whatever they're called. He first puts the oil in. The flame isn't even on yet. Then he realizes the flame isn't on and then turns it on.
And then he yells at you for it. He's like, don't forget, folks, you gotta check to make sure that flame's on. Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
So you gotta check. It was my stove's fault. So he drops the beef cubes, which is what stew meat really is. Drops the beef cubes, and then right on top of it slathers the ground meat on top of the beef cubes. Have been touching that pan for like 3 seconds, and then he dumps the ground meat on top of it. This does several things wrong.
I would think you'd want to cook the beef, have a little bit more surface area.
Well, you want to sear them. You want to sear and seal the beef cubes.
But the ground beef will cook up like nothing. Like
exactly.
That'll be quick. Why wouldn't you just cook the cubes all the way or however much?
Cook the cubes, then cook the ground beef,
right?
Then saute your vegetables. But no, that's not the lazy man way.
Another question to me here is, why are we doing this in this pan? Is it because he has to drain it? Is that what it is? Because you could really do this all in the Ninja Foodie. That's the purpose of having the pressure cooker that is a slow cooker, like a saute. It has saute functions.
It has so many functions, folks.
It's got like 7 functions. You could do all of the stew in there. Like, why would you not do it? I mean, you could still drain it. It's not as easy.
I think this is easier for him to reach, or he's trying to quote unquote follow the recipe. Although if he's following the recipe,
why would you make it in the Ninja Foodie to begin with?
You have stumbled down a rabbit hole there. I have no idea. That's a good point. He could saute all of this in the foodie. So now he's draining the Exxon Valdez oil spill of beef grease he has here. And he's like, oh, it's just water. It's just water. It's water that came out of the beef.
He was going to cook the vegetables in it. And then I don't know if he came to his senses or I misheard him or what, but he ends up draining off all the fat or the grease or whatever that is at the bottom of the pan, the sludge.
I imagine Tammy walked in the kitchen and started yelling at him. Oh, look, there it goes. All the grease is gone. We're back to a dry pan with a little bit of oil in it to saute the onion.
The flame probably being at the same level that it was before.
Look at the oil sizzle in the back.
Now look at these onions.
Man-sized chunks of onion.
Look at that chunk on the left-hand side. Yep. Oh my God. I mean, even the peppers, I think I would want chopped a little bit better than that. Like they seem really large. Like if you're going to get a bite size.
It's a chili.
Right. You want to fit it on a spoon. You're just going to get one piece of either onion or you're going to get a piece of pepper in your mouth.
Because that's all you're going to taste. Well, when you chop up ingredients like this, you're trying to measure the bite of the person taking it. You're trying to think of that when the person ladles into their chili chili, you want a little bit of beef, a little bit of onion, a little bit of bell pepper, a little bit of garlic. You want that in each bite of the food they're eating. But of course, Jack just cooks for himself, so he doesn't care.
He pours in some of that jarred garlic, but he pours in so much of it, and I don't know if that's normal.
Autofocus is off.
For this recipe, it seemed excessive.
Pink beef because you didn't cook it long enough.
Now we're out of focus.
No area in the shot is in focus. Oh, the back of it, like see far away is in shot. So all he did was tilt the camera down on the tripod. He didn't refocus. Yeah. Whoever set it up for him manually focused the camera, but when Jack ran around and did it to point it down and point it to the Instant Pot, he didn't refocus it, and the autofocus is not on.
He struggles here with tomato paste. It's like one of those 8-ounce cans or whatever, the small ones. Now, like every other chef in America and like that does this for a living says if you open both sides of the can, you can just push it through with a spoon. Like, I don't know why he doesn't take the 3 extra seconds to do that.
Now he's adding the pork and beans to it, the pork and beans, but he mentions that he did rinse and drain them. Who rinses and drains baked beans anyway? Like the sauce is flavored. You're supposed to leave that on there.
And then he puts in the better than bouillon. There is a ratio of better than bouillon paste to liquid, and I don't know that he's followed that.
Oh God, no. He doesn't even think about it. He just slaps the paste in there because he does add some water to this, but it's only because he doesn't want the damn Ninja food yelling at him that he's burning it again.
He puts everything in there. Then he admittedly says, this doesn't look good.
He's like, this is going to go bad.
So he starts mixing things together, and it does not look like there's enough liquid in it.
Well, he panics himself. He adds water to it, but what Jack didn't take into account was he has fresh vegetables in there, which will exude some water, especially if you pressure cook them. So everything in there, nothing's going to boil off. It's only going to add moisture to it, because as everything cooks, it gives off steam, and then that steam's going to condense right back into it, because pressure cooker.
We go through the cycle.
Now we go the litany that hides the fact that Jack probably burns himself with the Ninja Foodie or the Instant Pot a lot. So now he's got the safety glove. I
don't understand it. I mean, we've had the Instant Pot for how many months now? I have not burned myself once on it. Like,
very easy to avoid that. You don't need his special glove to do it. I think that's just him selling it. I think because he sells it on his Amazon site.
On
his Amazon store. He's like, folks, most important, always wear your glove.
Yeah.
Use your Commander Midnight decoder ring. Sold only in the Commander Midnight store.
So we get the big reveal here, and then he talks about the liquid on the top of the...
dump the water, the steam back into it.
Yeah.
Which is okay for maybe this recipe, but some of the recipes you don't want to dump that water back in it. You gotta waterlog it. That's why everything he does comes out like soup, which he mentions. And then he mentions, people say it comes out like soup, because it does. Your chilies come out like soup, and your soups come out like chilies.
Chili, yeah, it's weird. It doesn't make any, or chowder, or wallpaper paste.
It's odd, but consistent. Oh God, oh yeah, no, I can't imagine a Jack clam chowder recipe. That would just be awful.
How do you undercook clam? He'll find a way.
I think Greenpeace would come up as a crime against sea life for that.
We get to the end. He puts a bowl together of the chili.
Only about a quarter full. This just does not seem like... You normally fill chili to the top of the bowl. Doesn't do that here.
Puts in 2 heaping spoonfuls of sour cream, because that's what Walt does. And then he puts in a handful of fresh tomatoes.
The fresh tomatoes are what he said makes this Walt's chili.
I have a feeling like he's upset that he has to eat fresh tomatoes. I just get that
don't worry,
vibe.
He's going to kill it, because watch now. You see it's a dark red color now. I don't know if we actually see him add the shreddy cheese.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Does he add too much? Because it feels like he adds a lot. Now he sprinkles on a little bit of a garnish.
It's not too much. Yeah, it's
not too much. But wait, now the chili is dark red. But wait till we cut out to the wide shot. Look down at that bowl. That bowl it's now a yellowish red, because I think he dumped extra cheese in it.
He's fun. Camera.
Yeah.
Do you like some chili with your cheese?
Because the one time we watched him do it, and it was like he has a notorious habit of adding too much cheese to everything. Look at it. It's a different color now. I know he's mixing in the sour cream, but it's much, much, much lighter. He didn't put that much sour cream in it, but it's yellow now because he dumped a whole fuck ton of cheese in there.
It's hard to gauge your reaction here. It looks like he's enjoying it. He's not really like, this is a home run recipe.
Oh, and for those of you who, like me, watch him for when he pops the food in his mouth for the Jack mukbang, and you're always wondering, will there be tongue or no tongue? This one, big tongue. Lots of Jack tongue on the mukbang when he goes for the video here, when he goes for the bite. Lots of tongue. The curry chicken salad one, not so much tongue. This one, big tongue.
Well, because it's chili.
So now he's finishing up talking about he doesn't know where it comes from, this and that. He's going to talk about some of the other recipes, which we will be talking about. So please tune in again to us, folks.
Thanks for joining the insanity of this episode. And,
absolutely. The happiest Jack-hating podcast on the planet.
See you next time.
Enjoy, folks.